I created the retreats because they were really, I guess, the retreats that I wanted to go on, but I couldn't find. They are really a blend of very soulful work with a bit of luxury in there. I want to be this person. I feel like I should be this person. I've been told I should be this person. As you know, a lot of the work that I do in my coaching sphere is rooted in values. That is where everything starts for me. It's so far removed from what is reality, but you have to get to that place to realize that that's not going to make you. Maybe it does. Some people it does, and that's fine. It's a process. It's a process of coming home to yourself, and that is a journey. You know, as you well know, as I well know. Again, it's not a journey necessarily that we ever. There's no destination. I'm really pleased you asked this question. You might have to cut me off. Oh my God, it's a beautiful thing to learn to live a life that feels like your own.
It feels so good.
It's so moving. It's so powerful. It is so transformational, and it can happen in a short space of time.
Are you ready to embrace the best version of yourself? I'm Jen Helliwell, design and fashion creator, and I am on a mission to inspire, motivate, and uplift women to be just that through my platform and podcast, This Girl Can Talk.
Hi there, and welcome back to the pod. This Girl Can Talk. This is so exciting. Get ready to meet my guest today, Harriet Mandak, a true powerhouse in the world of wellness and transformation. She is an incredible holistic life coach, hypnotherapist, and rapid transformational therapy practitioner. Driven by her own powerful mission to help ambitious, heart-centered individuals reconnect to their authentic selves and step into their true power. Create lives that are not just successful, but deeply aligned and fulfilling. Harriet has built her beautiful platform that I am honored to be part of, the Connected Collective, a dynamic space that started as a book club and has since evolved into deeply transformative, yet super stylish, chic retreats, a fresh off the press international membership, the Growth Collective, and now the newly launched weekly wellness guides. This doll is unstoppable. Yet she embodies a rare balance of strength, gentleness, kindness, and generosity, all rooted in her true love for what she does and her unwavering desire to gift and pass that wisdom on. We are so lucky to have her here today to share her insights with us. Welcome, my darling friend and super wellness guru, Harriet, or as I like to refer to you as, my very own Gwyneth Paltrow of Dubai. Welcome to the pod, darling. Thank you, my love. Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you here.
It's so good to be here.
I talk about you and the Connected Collective to everyone, every woman, every man, anyone going. It's made such a huge difference in my life, and the impact it's had on me, I carry it in my heart always. Our friendship is very, very special to me as well. And starting this platform and this podcast has been a big thing. And the guests that I have on it are very important to me. And there's a story behind each of them. So remember that fateful morning walking into your house for the very first time, very first book club that I took part in. And I was so terrified. And I was a totally different girl or woman than I am today. And I remember thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you know, I'm walking into like the cool girls. But from the moment I walked in your beautiful home, you just, this kind of calming, lovely, warm, wonderful girl, woman. I always say girl, but we are girls. And you were like, hello, would you like coffee? Would you like, what kind of milk would you like? And it was just like this feeling of, oh my God, I'm welcomed. I'm safe. And like from that moment on, I never felt anything but I love it here. I feel happy here. It's been like that ever since. So it's just lovely. And that's the only ever thing that I ever feel and think and get the same feedback from. So you really are truly, truly special. And I'm so grateful for everything that you do. Fast forward to just over a year ago when I was in London. I was in a tricky,
Mm.
tricky time, and you knew me a lot better by that stage. I was alone in London facing something that most of my friends now do know about that I was facing. And I was walking, I was there for about 3 weeks, and it was about the time that I was about to face one of the most daunting experiences of my life. And then I got a ping on my phone. Do you remember?
I
And
do. Yeah.
I looked at my phone and it was you, and you sent me a Spotify link to the song, and I need to probably remember he said, "This is for you," and the song was "A Lot More Free" by Max McNown, and it's now become possibly one of my favorite songs. And you just said, "This is for you. I think it might help you. Love you." And the tears just streamed down my face, and I just felt not so alone and so held. And that's just you.
Oh.
So that is so special.
This in itself feels like such a full circle moment. It has been a real journey. And I remember that day that you walked in so well, and to watch the difference in you is, yeah, I can't even put it into words how incredible it has been to watch you kind of find your voice again, find your sparkle again. I also remember the day we were sat at that table and you put it out there in the universe that you wanted to start a podcast, and here we are. You've had that experience, in the spaces that I create, because that is really all I want. And you just said it yourself there. I want people to feel, women to feel really less alone in the world. So thank you, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, my love. But today is about celebrating you and all that you do. So before we dive in,
Mm.
please do subscribe, follow, rate, review, all of that good stuff. And it helps me grow this platform and make it into what you want it to be and help others rise up and become better, braver, stronger, and happier together. So, my love, kicking off as I always do with all my guests, you look
Fine. I'm glad we both went for
yes,
jeans,
we both
actually. I thought you were going to go all
so
black. So I was like,
who says that?
yeah.
Everybody says that, and I'm trying to like move away from just the black
No, I
moment.
love it. We like
Um,
telepathically.
yeah, you look so good. What are you wearing?
So I'm wearing this sweater is Isaac Azane, which
Okay.
is actually run by a lovely friend of mine. It's a kind of Dubai, London brand run by three sisters. My jeans are very old Massimo Dutti, I think,
Oh,
actually. And then my shoes, again, very old, but good old Gianvito Rossi, the good old, just the Perspex heel, can't go wrong, chuck them on with anything.
love it.
But yeah, it's quite strange because obviously whenever we see each other, we're just in
Always in
gym gear.
athleisure.
Yes. So
Athleisure. Athleisure.
it's nice to get out of the lycra. And so yeah, this is,
You look so good.
you probably don't recognize me.
No, you look gorgeous. Okay, let's begin with your personal journey. Take us back to the beginning, and what was the moment or kind of experience that you at first ignited your passion for wellness, and how did it shape the person you are today?
I would probably describe it more as a sort of slow unraveling. It really began for me when I moved to Dubai. So I moved to Dubai when my first daughter, I have three children now, 6 and under. And we moved to Dubai when my first daughter was just a baby, 5 months old. And that process of sort of moving away from, all my friends and family to a new country where I knew nobody. We had about 3 weeks to pack up and move. The day we landed, my husband went straight into work. So I was kind of left as a new mum.
Yeah.
And that transition I had also found very hard. The kind of expectation reality gap for me was vast. It wasn't like a kind of ping moment for me. It was just a slow unpeeling.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? And that's a beautiful thing about the wellness guide that you've just launched
Mm.
is like every week it's like more things, and it's showing how it's kind of it's always evolving, and we're always evolving, and
100%.
that's so fine as well. Like it's okay to want to be following something one week and or one month or doing something, and then the next week, well, maybe that's not quite what
Yeah.
I'm going to do anymore, and that's totally fine. It's not
Yeah.
you shouldn't be like, oh, well, now she's not so into that anymore or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's fine to kind of go down a different path.
Yeah. And I think, wellness has become this huge kind of
behemoth, and actually it's just you really have to define what wellness looks like and feels like to you. And
Completely.
there's a lot of performative wellness out there as well that I see, kind of ticking off the to-do list of like, oh, I've been on this retreat and I've tried this and I've tried this. And actually that's, wellness is ultimately about doing the things and the practices and the things that make you feel more connected to yourself and to other people. So it's a big word, but yeah, I think, for me that's what it means. It means just remembering who I am actually, and finding and accessing the tools um that help me remember that.
Creating a platform of connection. Your platform does a fantastic job of connecting people, especially women in the wellness space. How did you envisage this community, and what do you feel is the most important thing people need to take away from it?
It was really born out of a desire to create something that I wanted for myself, and also that I really felt was missing, particularly in an expat community. Very easy to meet people here, less easy to find your people, I think.
Yeah.
And I really noticed in a lot of the clients I was working with at the time, that kind of connection piece was really missing. So I created it originally with the book club, which is obviously what you were an OG member of and I still are a member of today. And I wanted it to feel like a space that was like the equivalent of a of a deep exhale for women. I wanted to just create a space where women could come, put down all that they carry for like a hot minute. Secondly, empowered them with some tools and some knowledge that would help them navigate this world. That's a big focus of my work, is that I'm just mildly obsessed with how far beyond the human scale we are living right now, and how that is hugely impacting humans in general. I wanted to yes, provide those spaces, but also provide women with something they could take away with them, that they could use and integrate into their day to day life. So that's really where it started. And then it's sort of built from there. I have the retreats now. I also have the Growth Collective, which you mentioned, which is the online membership.
Which
Um,
is so good.
it is good. It's a for me, it's a difficult one because I've really had a lot of resistance to doing anything online for a while, because I do really believe that connection, true connection, and what we need more of is human connection, is
Yeah.
this, right? And that is always what the spaces that I create will always be about, particularly as we move forward in a world that's dominated by tech and AI. But yeah, I think human connection is, for me, fundamentally, we are going to need it more and more.
For sure. For me, it definitely, but what was amazing for me last week or 2 weeks ago
Mhm.
was I was able to dial into the Zoom call on the Growth Collective
Yeah.
when I was away and I was feeling lonely and vulnerable and it was having a hard time and it was call in
Mm.
and to have that connection even though it was online, it's still something
Yeah.
to be part of.
To be able to access those tools, and I think that's where I want to see, and it's going to be interesting to see how the wellness space moves with that, the growth of kind of tech, and how we bring that more into the kind of human connection spaces.
Oh God, let's get into it. The Dream Wellness Retreats. You create the ultimate wellness retreats. I know firsthand. I've been, and I cannot wait for May. It's like
What are we, like,
it's May.
26 days
Oh yeah,
now? Not that
going.
I'm counting.
We're going to Ibiza. But for those of you that are not as fortunate as me yet, can you indulge us with what the experiences look like? What elements are essential for them to be truly transformative and as unique as they are?
I created the retreats because they were really, I guess, the retreats that I wanted to go on, but I couldn't find. They are really a blend of very soulful work with a bit of luxury in there. We always focus on very restorative, holistic, soulful practices. Again, my focus there is really on nervous system and providing spaces that just allow you to reset. But also, again, bring in tools, knowledge that allow you to leave with something. You can chill by the pool, have a glass of rosé, have a spicy margarita or two if you like, And also, of course, connection is at the heart. It's so moving. It's so powerful. It is so transformational, and it can happen in a short space of time.
Yeah.
I cannot speak more highly of them. You come away like floating off that retreat, and it's so good, so good. Bring on
I
Ibiza!
know, I can't wait.
So excited.
We're going international.
I know. I was like, remember I was messaging you. I was like, oh my God, I'm thinking LA next year.
Yeah, yeah,
LA,
yeah. Keep them coming.
so good. All right, breaking wellness barriers.
Mm.
Wellness can sometimes feel exclusive, or intimidating. How have you worked to make wellness more inclusive and accessible, especially for people who feel disconnected or overwhelmed by it?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I think it's really pertinent, especially for this uh, environment in Dubai. I think a lot of wellness, we're really blessed here in Dubai that, wellness is booming and there's a new studio and a new biohacking place and a new longevity space popping up every 5 minutes. But I think it can sometimes feel very intimidating
Mm.
and a little bit overwhelming. It does feel very important to me to curate spaces that, again, remove, kind of strip that away. Again, going back to that performative wellness piece, this isn't about going to a really Instagrammable clinic and taking a video of yourself doing cryo and then saying, cool, yeah, I did it. It's actually about finding what works for you.
I think it's like that old thing going back to before wellness became the buzz. It was intimidating to go into a gym,
Yeah.
So it is intimidating. I know a lot of my
Mm.
friends who won't go to a Pilates
Mm.
class or won't go. I've always been, I don't know why, pretty good at just going along to something on my own and I'll do it.
Mm.
But it is intimidating. It's intimidating to try something different.
Yeah,
So it's,
100%. I posted actually on in the wellness roundup we did this week, cozy cardio, which is this new big trend that's
I read,
happening on TikTok,
yeah,
which is people doing cardio at home in their pajamas because they feel too intimidated to go to a gym, or again, they're not really sure where to start. So yes, it feels important to me to be able to strip away some of that. And that's why, you sharing your experiences of coming on retreats is always really important, because there are lots of people who I know are looking at these things and going, I really need that. I want that, but I'm
oh,
too
God, yeah.
scared to go by
Well, when I
myself.
came on the retreat, I genuinely, I shared this on a pod that I did. For some reason, I genuinely thought everyone was going to be on their own going there. And then it was the night before you said, oh, a couple of people, and I was like, oh my God, shit. But then loads of the girls, most of the girls were kind of together, we a
Yeah.
friend. And then they were like, so great that you came on your own. Like, I'm going to do that in the future, and it
Yeah.
was so easy to do it because
Yeah.
you all gel together. But I can totally see it that you wouldn't, you'd be nervous
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah. You do have to at some point acknowledge that growing and, moving closer to that person is going to involve a level of discomfort,
Yeah.
a level of meeting that fear, acknowledging it and doing the thing anyway. If you see something that you feel like that, I want to try that, try it.
Try it.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. It's just try it.
Yeah.
Just start. Start
Yeah.
where you are.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one I really like. The balancing authenticity and success. You've become a true representation of authenticity in the wellness space. And like I said, if I've said it once, I've said it a dozen times. You're my very own little Gwyneth. And I know you're going sky high places, even beyond where you are now. How do you stay grounded and true to yourself, even as you grow your platform and brand?
As you know, a lot of the work that I do in my coaching sphere is rooted in values. That is where everything starts for me. It's the foundational piece. I don't have like a framework that I follow for clients. Everyone is very different. Everyone needs different healing keys, but I always start with values. Like what are the things that you need in your life for you to be fulfilled and for you to be okay? And I think often what people really get confused with is we've sort of been sold this idea that success equals fulfillment, and actually fulfillment equals success. My feelings are always whatever I do
I try and always let it be rooted in what matters to me. And I think sometimes that's also really difficult. Again, being here in Dubai is such an amazing, one of the things I love, and I know Kelly actually mentioned this on the podcast. There's so much opportunity here, and there's a real can-do attitude, and it's an amazing place to be a female entrepreneur, as you
Yeah.
well know. But I think sometimes that can also have a little bit of a shadow side in that it can sometimes make you feel like you need to push more and do
Yeah.
more and be seen more. And actually, you have to keep pulling it back and keep
And
asking.
maybe do things you don't necessarily want to do, like move away from not your values, but maybe be pushed into things you don't necessarily feel are quite right.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a difficult, again, going back to what we just talked about, the kind of growth discomfort piece. Growing and pushing yourself, I'm sure when you started this podcast, there was a lot of fear that you had,
Oh
and
my God.
probably a lot of inner voices that
There's
were like, I can't
blitz.
do this. It's really redefining what success looks like for me. I didn't start the Connected Collective to grow a business. I didn't start it to make money. I didn't start it to build a brand. I started it to bring some meaning, to have meaning and to be of service. And that will always remain my intention. When you understand what guides you, what drives you, what your compass is, you can also understand when you've gone too far.
I think that's so beautiful as well because I celebrate and relish in the fact that I am now surrounded by amazing women doing different but similar sort of things that are born out of an understanding that something wasn't right. And
Hmm.
they've built what they needed. They built what they couldn't find for themselves. Listen, like you've done this, you've built something that you yearned for. And that's what success looks like, right?
Million percent.
It's not anything, this whole world of manifestation and building a vision board and putting something materialistic on it or whatever. It's so far removed from what is reality. But you have to get to that place to realize that that's not
Yeah.
going to make your. Maybe it does. Some people it does, and that's fine. But your idea, it's the book Start With Why. And
Mm.
I now am so
Yes.
crystal clear on what my why is. And
Yeah.
that feels so good. And when you get to that place, and then it's like your inner compass, kind of like you say, your different values. Doing your value card set is so, so important. And like I've said to you, when I find my love,
Mm.
um, I'm going to do that card set from the beginning with him because you have to be aligned. And when you know your values, then you know where you're going. You can feel your way.
Yeah.
And what you've just said about it, like being pushing on one and leaving another one, and then that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great way to
Yeah.
be, and you're not going to go far wrong.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. Like I always say, I wish every single person could know that you deserve a life that feels like your own.
Yeah.
And there is so much unraveling and really peeling back and understanding, like, what am I carrying here that isn't mine? What actually are the things that I need in my life just for me to be okay? That, if I zoom out and look holistically, if I've got these things in my life, then I'll be fine. And we do look, being aspirational is it's not a bad thing, but when I do this exercise with a lot of people, it's very clear how often aspirational values come in. I want to be this person. I feel like I should be this person. I've been told I should be this person. That's not what your values are.
No.
It's a very factual approach, and it's also a very difficult approach, I will hasten to add. It's not
Empty.
yeah, it's not something that you can just kind of necessarily do once and be like, "Yes, that's it." It's a process. It's a process of coming home to yourself, and that is a journey, as you well know, as I well know. Again, it's not a journey necessarily that there's no destination,
No.
but oh my God, it's a beautiful thing to learn to live a life that feels like your own.
It feels so good.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Okay, self-care rituals. This is one that's
all the mums out there, and I'm not a mum, but I know they're desperate to know this. Many of us talk about self care, but what does self care actually look like for you on a day to day basis? Are there any small rituals that make a big impact in your life? I think this is such a good one because for you to share, you are walking, talking proof of it being possible. You're a busy working mum of three young, beautiful children, but you still carve out that time to take care of yourself. And that's so important to
Mhm.
do so. So, can you share for the mums out there? Because I know there's so many mums that are like, I don't have time.
I'm really pleased you asked this question. You might have to cut me off because I really could go off on one
Go,
about self-care
do
because
it.
I feel like it has become a bit of a it's like become the panacea for women's problems, this cure-all solution. Burnt out, you need more self-care. It's not that simple. We cannot self-care our way out of a 40-hour working week or a societal system that doesn't support mothers in the right way. So simply trying to tell mums go to a yoga class or run a bubble bath or book a massage is not helpful. And it's actually my experience. I've seen it myself and in my clients is it can be more guilt and shame inducing that actually
Hmm.
self-care feels like another thing to put on the to-do list. And then when you don't manage to get it done, it's just another thing you're failing at.
Hmm.
So self-care for me, and I really highly recommend if anyone is kind of really into this topic, there's a fantastic book called Real Self-Care by Dr. Pooja Lakshmin, which goes into this in a lot more detail. But, self-care essentially is really finding the things that help, exactly as I was saying at the beginning, that help you feel more connected. Those don't have to look like these huge, elaborate morning routines. It can literally look like, as it very often looks like for me, 2 minutes of sitting in my car and taking some deep breaths. I was really late getting here because poor Jen, I hate
No,
being
don't
late, but
worry.
I was really late getting here because I went the wrong way and I thought someone had stolen my car and it was all a whole thing. And I know after I get out of here, got all of that adrenaline swirling from thinking I was going to be late and that we're running out of
Bless your
time. And
heart.
I will, once I get out of this podcast, I will sit in my car and I will just do 2 minutes of
Yeah.
just deep breathing. And that will be enough to just sort of reset me enough so that I don't keep that cortisol and that adrenaline building. And then when my kids inevitably piss me off later,
Kick off.
kick off and scream at them. There are obviously lots of, tools and practices that you can access. But yeah, for me, self-care looks like just the little moments in the day that I can that I can just stop, acknowledge how I'm feeling, acknowledge what I'm feeling, what's going on in my body. Like, oh, I've been like grinding my teeth. I didn't even realize all of these things. Again, practices that work for you. I'm a big fan of breath work and meditation.
Yeah.
That has been very hugely transformative for me in terms of processing my emotions and being responsive and not reactive. But yeah, self-care on a daily basis is that there is no routine really because I don't have time for a routine.
Mm.
But I do make sure that I factor in those little moments. I'm also fiercely protective of my personal time. So I know that I need time by myself. It's just something I've learned about myself over the years. I love being with people. I work in spaces where I'm often around a lot of people. I work with clients day in and day out. So if I don't carve out time for myself, it's not a good thing. To me, firstly, self-care is really it's spiritual self-care. It's about understanding like what do you need to just come back to you and reset the nervous system a little bit, take a breath.
And I think it's hugely about from an outside looking in on mums, um, it's okay to give yourself time. Like that's when did it become not okay to have a break, to as a woman
Yeah.
to be able and that guilt
Yeah.
factor that I see I'm my sister,
Yeah.
and for me not being a mother, I can so
Yeah.
easily see. I'm like, take a break, go
Yeah.
get your nails done, do that. But I
Yeah.
know the guilt
I
thing
think
is
even non-mums, I think that's
mm,
wired into you. You know, we again, we live in a capitalist, individualistic society
yeah,
where
but
we are, you know, subconsciously wired for productivity.
if I have a lie in, I feel
Yeah.
hugely guilty.
Yeah, and again, there's you know, a lot of the work that I try and do is helping women understand when, you know, you need rest, but you struggle with rest because your nervous system isn't wired for it, because you're
Mm.
wired to do,
Doer,
do.
doer. I'm just a
And,
doer.
you know, all your brain's job is to keep you alive. And it does that by learning what feels safe. And what feels safe for a lot of us is overgiving, overdoing, over pleasing. And these are the things that at one point in time, you know, kept us safe and kept us connected to our caregivers. But the trouble is we're grown ups now. And, you know, we need to be able to just stop and tell our bodies, like, it's okay. You're not being chased by a wild boar. You know, it's, those things are, you know, are really important. I think the narrative is shifting, thankfully, in terms of moving away slightly from it's not okay to take a break. I think we are doing a lot better at that. But I think individually people are still very resistant. I see it all the time in clients,
Yeah.
even in myself. It's very difficult to stop and to rest.
You know,
I
you
think you
just
have,
said that perfectly, though. You could stop. You're a grown up
yeah.
now. That's a great way of saying it.
You and as
Absolutely
often
brilliant way of saying
I
it.
will just say to, you know, my clients, that's all you need to do. When
Yeah,
you notice that thought, it's okay. I'm a grown up. I can do what I want.
that's
It's
really
okay for me to
amazing.
take a breath. So that's it, going back to the self care. That is self care to me.
Yeah,
Is, you know, it just start there.
so good. This has been fantastic, and so I wish we could talk all day.
I know, and I'm
Just
sorry we
think
got
we
it
could
cut. We
talk
had
all
to cut
day.
it short a little bit.
But I've got one more
Yeah.
serious one before
Okay.
we go into
Okay.
a quick fire fun round. Um, the future of the brand
Oh,
and your brand. Looking forward, what's next for you and your platform? Are there any big new? I know you've just launched two big, huge
yes.
ones.
Yeah.
But is there anything huge, big apart from the retreat?
Yeah. I'm focusing on the how, not the
You've
what
got
right
quite a
now.
lot on your plate
Yeah.
right now.
And I've obviously just launched the wellness guide, which we're actually shifting to a new home. So that's great. That's, you know, that feels like I love it. It's fun work
Oh,
for
you
me. And
love
I
it.
think
Yeah.
that's, and I, you know, I work with a friend doing that, and that's really important. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on that. Lots more sort of,
It's
um,
literally my favorite email of the week.
thank you. I love, like, literally love pulling it together. It's quite a lot of work, but I really enjoy it. So I love hearing when people actually read it and get value from it.
Yeah.
Retreats wise, we have lots more exciting retreats planned in the pipeline, more international retreats. But yeah, just taking every day as it comes,
I can't
and I'm
wait.
happy. I'm happy with where I am now. It feels good for me right now. So yeah,
Oh, it
nothing.
feels so good to watch it, to be part of it.
Thank
And
you.
I am
Oh, great.
so super proud and I can't wait to
Ditto.
see it all.
Ditto. Yeah.
Any quick wellness secrets? We all have wellness secrets. What's a favorite smoothie recipe or a go-to wellness hack? What's one of yours?
I'm a big fan of lymphatic drainage.
Oh, me too. Me
Big
too.
fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wellness challenges. If you had to create a wellness challenge for your followers, what would it be? Something that might be fun or
Oh,
transformative.
probably what I just mentioned. Maybe try a week of just stopping 3 times a day and checking in with yourself. Don't check your phone for half an hour after you wake up.
I like that one.
And see
One of
how,
mine.
yeah, try that for 2 weeks.
Once you're into it,
Ah,
you're into it.
yeah, you've got to break that.
Doom scrolling.
Yes.
The doom scroll. Okay, podcast you're currently binging?
I mean, yours, obviously.
Hello.
Obviously.
Instagram account you can't get enough of?
But trying to be very mindful of Instagram consumption right now.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a lot of inspiring content out there, but it can be very overwhelming. And one thing I know is wellness is not found scrolling Instagram. But there is an account I love. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. I think it's Heartthrob Anderson. And he basically does a sort of overview of
old movies and does this really kind of hilarious take on all these like random it's just it sounds super random,
I'm
but
gonna find it.
I'll send it through to you. I think it's Heartthrob Anderson, but he is so funny. And sometimes, it's just the content that you
You
need.
just need
Like,
it.
yeah.
I found one last
I think
week.
I probably would have deleted Instagram by now if it wasn't just purely for his
Oh
account.
God, I've got another one for you. My friend introduced me to it last week and I can't get enough. It's so funny. Guy with the ick list.
Oh yes. It's very like that. It's just
Yeah, but it's good.
yeah, it's just hilarious. And I think sometimes that's just
You just
yeah.
need a bit of that, a
Yeah.
lightness in your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Skincare brand that you're hooked on.
I'm having a real Korean skincare moment. I
Oh
think
yeah.
as we all are probably very into Korean skincare at the moment. Actually, I'm using a lot of Sante
Okay.
skincare at the moment. It's again a local brand, all sort of very natural ingredients. That's a really nice one.
Okay, what's it? A guilty secret you wouldn't want anyone to know.
I like to think I'm a fairly open book. I'm trying to think. I'm not very good at taking my own advice. I think this
Yeah,
is
none
probably
of us
something.
are.
I think I'm very good at yeah,
Yeah,
giving out the advice, less good at
we'll let
taking
you off
it,
with that one.
less good at taking it at times.
Okay, and final, ultimate girls' night. Are you in, out? Where are you going? What are you doing? And what are you eating and
Oh
drinking?
God, that's a good question. I would probably say it's in. I mean, out if it starts at 5 and
Yes.
I'm home by 9. And that if it was an out, it would be yeah, like a sunset dinner somewhere, nice cocktail, glass of wine, dinner, catch up with friends. But yes, home and in bed by 9. Or I love a movie night. I do love a movie night. But yes, I'm ferociously protective about my sleep. So I'm sorry right now. It's not going to be out
I'm sorry, it's good.
until yeah.
This has been everything, darling. Thank you so, so much for being here and sharing your very valuable time with me and with us.
Thank you. And I'm so proud of you, Jen. I really am.
Darling,
This
I'm so
is
proud of you.
just the most incredible. Yeah, it's just, I'm so proud of you watching you doing this and shining and
Thank you. Well, I couldn't
keep
be
doing what
here
you're
for
doing.
your support. I will, of course, add in the show notes all of this, but please share with everyone how they can find the Connected Collective and the Growth Connective, everything. Where can we
Yeah.
find you?
So my Instagram is just Harriet_Mandak. And then the Connected Collective is the Connected_Collective. I know it's a little bit of a mouthful. Sort of everything is linked under there. So the retreats, the Growth Collective, as I said, we're moving the Wellness Guide to a new home, but
Amazing.
it all will be revealed on the Connected Collective platform. The best place though is to join the mailing list.
And join it because
Yes,
it gets sold out
everything
quick.
gets shared there first before Instagram, and yeah, often, yeah,
I'm always like, fast finger, fast finger.
yes. So yes, and it's nice there. Like it's kind of where I do a lot of my sharing my thoughts and, often being most vulnerable. I think in that space.
Exactly.
So I'd love to see some of you there, and thank you so much again for having me. This has been a joy. Can I come back?
Oh, come back. You're welcome all the time. Thank you, darling. Okay, to all the listeners, if you've enjoyed today's episode, how could you not? Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. We would both love to hear your thoughts. I'll be back next week with another incredibly inspirational guest. So until then, get up, get dressed, grab your lip gloss, and let's get fabulous together. Thanks for listening.